So April 2nd, Netflix, a film debuts called Concrete Cowboy starring Idris Elba. And this is a story about cowboys, black cowboys living in the urban jungle, living the concrete jungle in Philadelphia. And it's about that whole, it's a story about a man connecting with his teenage son, or a teenage son connecting with the father, that kind of thing. But more so set in the backdrop and the element of black cowboys and that 100-year plus history of what that's like, and specifically as in Philadelphia. So I want to get into it really quick. My father recommended I see this film. I was slightly interested in it, but he prompted me to see it, and I decided to watch it recently, and I'm going to talk about it next on this episode of Film Fan. Welcome to Film Fan, my channel where I discuss film, all things film related. And if that is also your thing and you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button along with that little notification bell so you know when I put up new content and you don't miss it. I truly appreciate having you here. All right, so Concrete Cowboy, directed by Ricky Stabish, starring Idris Elba, Caleb McLaughlin, Lorraine Toussaint, Jarrell Jerome, Method Man is in this. And this is a story about a young man who's troubled and gets going through it in school, and his mom sends him off to live with his dad, and she drops him off and says, nah, dude, you're gonna stay here with your father. And he's not having it. He doesn't want to stay. She packs all his stuff into a couple plastic bags and just leaves him on the doorstep of her dad, who's played by Idris Elba. It just comes home and, finds a kid there, or he goes and finds out where his dad is. His dad is over at the stables where they have all these horses, and, it's kind of this son with the father thing. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be with you. You're not my dad, whatever. Right. So there is a relationship story going on here, but most of it, as I said in the intro, has to do with the backdrop of the black cowboys, the urban cowboys in this environment. And so you learn some things about that, and Idris Elba, dealing with this kid and creating that bond. It's actually some of what I actually enjoyed about the movie was the idea that they didn't do this thing where they put the teenage kid who's troubled and put with the father, and they're gonna hate each other at first, and then they're gonna bond together, and they're gonna grow, and he's gonna teach him some things. I'm glad they didn't really do that. They did to a degree. Idris puts him through some shit, and kind of it's not a kumbaya thing right away. It's not like he just embraces this kid. There's some history there. You learn about it. I like the way it was done. It was not typical, it wasn't typical. In fact, it's got to be 30 minutes or so, 45 minutes into the film, and Idris still hasn't really connected with this kid. There's no real touching moments until later on in the film. So I'm glad it was done that way. That's some of the strength of the actual picture. Also, the performances here, again, from Caleb McLaughlin, Idris Elba, Jarrell Jerome. There's some really good performances here. Method Man does well in this movie. There's some actual black cowboys from Fletcher Street stables, which are in Philadelphia, which is where this all takes place. Things that disappointed me that really aren't so much about the film, but they're more about what I learned. It touches you in your heart, I guess, and it also just makes you feel bad. You kind of scratch your head because you find out that through the efforts of the city and through gentrification and what's taking place in the neighborhood, they're going to lose the stables, and they actually rent. They don't own anything. There's a scene in this where the horses are taken from them, and the land is taken from them, the stables are taken from them, and everything gets shut down. And it's kind of all right, I'm just curious, it begs a question, and I probably should do, and I will do some more research just to find out what the deal is, because I thought this was kind of tragic. You're telling me that you guys don't own any property, you don't own 100-year history of the black cowboys, and you don't own a particular stable or haven't gotten grants or money from some source where you guys own your stuff. I don't know how money's being made. They seem to be kind of just vagabonds, or just kind of like nomad. It's like watching Nomadland, but it's black cowboys, and they're kind of just moving around. But, there was no stability there, and no real sense of okay, this is ours. We own this. This is how we make money. This is how we help the community. This is what we're doing with the kids, and we're keeping the kids out of trouble by teaching them about horses and this culture. That's great, but I just thought it was odd and a little shocking that there wasn't actual ownership of this land and this culture. I just thought that was strange, and it was off-putting, and it made me want to get get further into like what is going on here. So anyway, if anyone knows about all that stuff, feel free to let me know in the comments. I think it's worth watching. Netflix, it came out April 2nd, so it's been out for a while now, pretty much for a month. I'm getting into it late. Okay, whatever. If you haven't seen it, hopefully this video maybe prompts you to say, hey, you know what? Film Fam talked about it. Maybe I will see it. It's a good movie. My dad told me to see it. I took my dad's advice. I saw it. Thank you, Dad, for telling me to watch this movie. I don't feel like I wasted my time like some other shit recently. You can look on my channel. You see what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Concrete Cowboy, Idris Elba. Go ahead and check it out. It's worth watching. Take the time. Don't rush to watch it. If you got some other shit to see ahead of it, fine. It'll be there. You'll find it. But it's a good film. I think that the culture, the whole black cowboy thing is kind of cool. And finding out more about that if you don't know anything about it, it's worth exploring. All right, that's it for me on Film Fan. Again, if you like this video, hit that like button. I truly appreciate it. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and I will see you on the next Film Fan.